Today, I want to talk about Italy. Now, I spend a lot of time thinking. Do I talk about the trips we've taken? Do I talk about the research we've done into taxes and moving there? I have lots to say about Italy, but where to begin? And more importantly, what do you care to hear? Well, I've decided. I just want to tell you about Italy, how we enjoyed it, and how we might imagine ourselves moving to Italy. See, we've lived in Portugal, my family and I, for nearly 5 years now, helping people just like us make the move abroad. We've traveled Western Europe a lot in that time, and I've seen Rome and Genoa. However, my family ultimately likes looking at places from the idea of moving there. I mean, what if we had moved to Italy instead of Portugal? That led us to our most recent month-long trip through southern Italy. We would start in Naples, travel the coast south and hit the tourist spots like Pompeii and Capri. Eventually, we'd make our way to Sicily. See, Italy has strong tax incentives for those that have passive income to move there, but there are restrictions on where you can move. Just so happens that southern Italy is the area they are pushing to revive, and you'll find most of the prime destinations for these tax breaks are down there. If passive income isn't a consideration, then maybe Genoa or further north is still on your docket. First things first, we flew into Naples after a delay that routed us through Rome. We were tired, but the ride in was beautiful, at least as we got further toward the center of the city. To be honest, the actual first thing we thought was, I don't want to drive in Naples. But soon enough, we hopped out of the taxi and settled our bags before heading out to dinner. Naples is a lovely city, full of history and a wide spread of people from all over, but foremost in our minds was the food. Italian food, Napoli cuisine, Neapolitan is excellent. We had great food and plenty of our meals were cheap. We of course chose some mediocre overpriced places, but that's a given in any big city. Now, the next morning when we got up to go and explore the city for real, we sort of figured out that it was going to be raining for the entire time that we were in Naples. We went and saw the tourist destinations we were supposed to anyways, and found that lots of them are right in the city center and could just be part of everyday life there. I mean, right down in the center, from Galleria Umberto to the Piazza del Plebiscito, and on every side of them are beautiful monuments and castles. Of course, we went up and down the main road via Toledo, a very flat, walkable road through the city center. I mean, this whole area is great. I mean, the entire historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I mean, you've got places like Castel Nuovo, which is a great visit and would even make a nice accent piece to daily life, even if you aren't visiting it all the time. Really, the same applies to much of Naples, with nice squares and beautiful buildings all around. It's such an old city, flooded with people. I mean, you can walk down a back road full with graffiti on the walls and turn the corner and suddenly you're staring down a multi-hundred-year-old church that no one ever told you about. And on this trip, we also found that the funicular is a great way to traverse Naples, which again helps us imagine living there. Naples is rather hilly, so the funicular helps you get up to the nice sections of town higher up. We, of course, while we were up there, made sure to stop at the castle on the hill, Castel San Elmo, and get a view down overlooking the city, all the way out to Mount Vesuvius in the distance, if only it wasn't quite so cloudy. With all this in mind, did we like Naples? Yeah, it was a good visit, but we were ready to move on. In spite of how much we enjoyed the city, the short time there affirmed that we personally would move somewhere else if we found ourselves in Italy. In part, we've gotten used to Portugal, and rural Portugal at that, and Naples is a bit too seedy for us. There were times where we'd start taking the fast route to dinner, only to decide we should probably just stick to the main road because we evidently didn't match the crowd. It is what it is. So we went back up to the airport to pick up a rental car for the rest of the trip. We had booked through Discover Car. We actually have an affiliate with them, we use them everywhere we go, and strongly recommended this service. So check it out in the description. With the car, we headed down the coasts towards Sorrento, specifically to Termini. On the way, we visited Herculaneum. It's always striking when you're in Italy, but those historical, dreamt of places that Americans wish they could visit are all so close together. I mean, if you lived somewhere here, it would just be a short drive away to get to Herculaneum, to Pompeii, to Naples, go catch a ferry to Capri. It's all right together. On Herculaneum, apparently because of how the fallout of Vesuvius hit, it is better preserved than Pompeii, but it's harder to excavate and sits underneath a current-day city, so there's large sections that aren't uncovered. And yet, even still, what we could visit, the level of preservation is astonishing. I mean, you're looking at carbonized wooden staircases, shelves, and door frames that are 2,000 years old. There are incredibly preserved murals and vibrant mosaics where the color has held up to today. It's rather striking to visit. I personally liked it more than Pompeii, if you're looking for a visit. And while we're at it, yes, we visited Pompeii. It was a lot more sprawling than I expected and full of interesting architecture and well-preserved ruins. The 2,000-year-old ruins just go on and on. I mean, you'll struggle to see it all, even if you run by it. At both of these places, I found the kitchens to be the most interesting artifacts to look at. If you've been here or any ruin in Italy, what did you find most interesting? Now, I've gotten that portion of tourist story out of the way, so let's continue on to the Sorrento coast. So we stayed in Termini. It's a small town, if that, in a region called Massa Lubrense. So why did we choose this area? Well, the 7% flat tax on passive income has certain rules. The big one is a population restriction. When we went on this trip, Italy's rule for this program required you to move to a municipality of less than 20,000 people to get the advantage. Nowadays, the number has been raised to a population of 30,000. Massa Lubrense sits comfortably under that at 14,000 residents. This means you could live out on the Sorrento Peninsula while taking advantage of a 7% flat tax program. That's super interesting, right? Now, what did we think of our visit? Because just because there's a 7% flat tax program doesn't mean it's worth living there, right? Well, we found it would be a quiet life. It's a small area. We found some excellent restaurants and one we particularly fell in love with due to its good food and good price. Nonetheless, you are in an area that tourists come to. I mean, while we were there, we went on a trip to Capri, which is a common thing people come there to do. I mean, it was a great trip over. Honestly, I preferred the boat ride to the island itself. We went in this big old loop around the island to start gazing at the gorgeous rock formations and learning about different lovers' hideaways. And the island itself was beautiful. We went between some of the more popular spots overlooking pretty gardens and walking vibrant streets. It was very busy. And it was basically the last week of the whole season. So while the views are great, I can't imagine how busy the area would have been a month earlier. Although the tourists were more exaggerated in Sicily, areas that make most of their money off of tourists get really sleepy as the off-season comes and become chaotic during the tourist season. You do have to balance that when you are looking at areas with low populations, which is the places you're looking at to get the 7% flat tax zone. Nonetheless, Termini and its surrounding areas, surrounding towns, were all lovely, and we really could imagine ourselves living there. It would just be a question of finding the home that would make it work. Our last little stop on this portion of the Italy trip was to drive on down and glance at the Amalfi Coast, just to say we had. It was wonderful, beautiful, but very tight to get down there, and we'd already settled that, at least in this portion of Italy, we think a little sleepy town out on the peninsula could really work. We could imagine ourselves living there, although cost would be a big question mark. With this first portion of our Italy trip over, an Italian retirement or move was certainly more solidified in our minds. We liked to be out of the big city, and that's also where the taxes would make more sense for my parents. Now, I'm not actually going to go into big details on Sicily here, as I'm intending to do a Sicily-focused video at some point down the line, but we really liked Sicily, and Sicily has seen significant advantages when they upped the 20,000 population limit to 30,000. That's all I'll say here. Now, as a wrap, what do we think of southern Italy and Naples? Well, Naples as a big city is electric. It's perfect for vacation. For the right person, it'd be awesome to live for a few years there. But the beautiful coastline south of it hides some good getaways in a very popular region, which is where we think we would actually end up if we had gone down that way when we chose to move abroad from the United States. The best way to figure anything like this out is through making the trip yourself. I mean, after all, that's how we decided on our location in Portugal and ended up on Madeira for the first 4 years. A month trip is a great way to get a feeling for things, to sell yourself on your dream. Make sure it's right for you. And if our journey has you dreaming about your own next chapter, whether it's a trip like this or a bigger move abroad, we're here to help. Head over to our website, it'llbefunretirement.com, where you can find all our resources. You can sign up for our free newsletter for our latest tips, or join our monthly Move Abroad Roadmap Hour to connect with other like-minded travelers. Or you could just schedule a one-on-one meetup with us to ask questions and get ideas for your own adventure. All the links are in the description. It'll be fun. Bye, Sarah Divertido.